Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the T.H.O. Movie Reviews podcast, the show where we bring you passionate, honest, and insightful film criticism. I'm your host, Bennett, Campbell, Ferguson, and today I'm joined by my colleague at T.H.O., Patrick Belin. Patrick, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Ben. I'm just taking a little time off from writing my gargantuan thesis, so this is a nice little distraction for me.
Nice.
How are you, Ben?
I'm doing good, and may I say that part of the best thing I think about writing a thesis is being able to take time off. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. you gotta refresh your mind
you
before you get back into it, right? So
you do. Well, we are gathered here today because we're having a discussion about a pretty serious issue. As a lot of you probably know, Ronan Farrow, the son of Woody Allen, a while ago published an article in The Hollywood Reporter about his father, further talking about the allegations of sexual abuse, the allegations that Woody Allen abused his daughter Dylan Farrow when she was a child. And we wanted to take this moment to have a discussion about the issue of how to separate artists from their art, and indeed if you can do that, and what really is the proper response for a moviegoer when allegations like this come up. Do you boycott the movies they're involved with, or do you say no, artists and their art are totally separate? And part of the reason we're doing this is one thing Ronan Farrow said is that journalists don't ask enough questions about these issues, and well, we're journalists here at T.H.O., so we're asking questions, and we're probably not going to come up with any definitive answers, but we're gonna talk about it, and hopefully what we have to say will help you wrestle with these issues, especially since Woody Allen has a new film coming out called Cafe Society. So Patrick, I wanted to start just by asking you, with issues like this, when there's a movie you want to see, and either an actor or a filmmaker or some other person involved with it has either been accused of a crime or convicted of a crime, do you have a policy for how you respond to that kind of thing? And also, is there like a specific instance when you've had to wrestle with this kind of issue?
Yes, actually, with the whole ongoing Bill Cosby story that still hasn't been decided by the courts. But let me just say that I'm not above boycotting films, and personally, I have trouble separating artists from their artworks. So if they're engaged in something outside of their work, it does change my perception of it. Going into this Woody Allen thing, he hasn't been convicted, and I think we have to be really respectful of that. When this was being investigated, it was carried over 6 months, and it turns out that the judge didn't have enough evidence to prosecute. Of course, I'm not involved personally with any of these people, so I would have to go with what the courts concluded. Now, on this topic, I really do question what's going on with the timing of this article. It's coinciding with Woody Allen's film, and where it's appearing. It's the Hollywood Reporter. This is not exactly the New York Times or the Atlantic or those other or the New Yorker. Now, you wanted to get into the whole topic of separating artists from their art first.
Yeah, and sounds like you in general feel that's hard to do. That you can't just say the artist is separate and just watch their work. You do have to consider what they've done personally.
Right, and I bring up the Cosby case because Ronan does bring up the Cosby case in his article as well.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of drawing parallels here. I don't know. Being that I'm not familiar, I don't know any of these people personally. I'm hesitant to make any hard judgments on this, and just go with what's being reported in all kinds of places. And I like to see different sides of the story.
Sure, sure.
And we have to also acknowledge that this Ronan piece is from one side of the argument. We're not getting Woody Allen's side of the whole thing, right?
Right.
He definitely has an agenda here, which is to kind of bring the specter of the earlier story into the present. The way I interpreted it is it's a hit piece. It's a hit piece by Ronan to get at Woody Allen. That's how I read it, anyways.
Sure.
So, there's also some dubious things going on in this article. Because of his training as a lawyer, that he's able to kind of formulate an argument that goes against the previous decisions by the investigators and the judge. I just found that kind of hard to believe.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So anyways, that was my reading of it. Well, how did you read this article?
You know, I mean, the article for me, it brought up some things that I hadn't heard about. But that wasn't, you know, why it intrigued me. It intrigued me because it was really bringing something to the forefront that I hadn't thought about that much, and that I had quite honestly tried to ignore. You know, which I'm ashamed to admit that, but. You know, I'm not a diehard Woody Allen fan, but
Neither am I.
In general, I'm a fan of his movies. And you know, when this was really, you know, really coming to the forefront was in 2014, when Blue Jasmine was getting all this awards consideration, and Dylan Farrow, back then, as you might remember, she wrote about this in the New York Times.
And I didn't read the article, but
yeah, I didn't read that one myself. Yeah, but and you know that's when this came to light, when he was being honored at the Golden Globes, Woody Allen, when he was getting the Cecil B. DeMille Award, when Blue Jasmine was up for a number of Oscars, and for me at that time, I didn't really want to hear it. You know, I was in this Woody worship phase. I really liked Blue Jasmine. I loved To Rome with Love before the year before. I thought that was a brilliant movie, but whereas, you know, when I read this article by Ronan Farrow, I was in a very different place, and I was in a place where I was much more receptive to thinking about the issues, and the reason I got to that place was because of an issue like this I had with a totally different filmmaker. I don't know if do you remember in 2014 Bryan Singer was being sued for sexual abuse?
In 2014?
Yeah.
No, I completely missed this.
Yeah, it was actually around the time that X-Men: Days of Future Past came out. Yeah. And this guy accused him of raping him back, I think, in the late 90s, and it was a pretty big shock. I mean, I was as someone who grew up, you know, worshiping Bryan Singer. I mean, you know, part of the reason I got interested in movies was because of his films. You know, I was really horrified, and I was at that place, you know, for a while where I didn't want to hear it. But then eventually, what happened was the suit was dropped, and this guy who accused Bryan Singer, in fact, he himself is now in prison because he defrauded a bunch of people in an investment scheme. Oh, no. So the tables kind of turned on that one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had a bit of a eureka moment when I thought, you know, okay, clearly this guy who accused him is not the most trustworthy of people. I mean, he's you know, he was found guilty of defrauding people. He was also known to have lied in court. And then I realized that doesn't mean he wasn't telling the truth about Bryan Singer. And as much as I hate to admit it, you know, the fact that he was guilty of someone else, you know, doesn't invalidate everything he's ever said. And I realized as a movie fan, I have been a little bit blinded, or well, not a little, a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized I realized I had to be more careful about that, and I think it's really interesting the stuff you brought up that's kind of suspect about the Ronan
Mm-hmm.
Farrow article, and I feel from what you said, it's making me reconsider some of what I thought about that article, which is I took it at face value, and now I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good point. There's some stuff that's not right there, but I have come to feel in general that that it's so that there's a need to question
Oh,
powerful
absolutely.
people who
That's what journalism is. They're supposed to question power.
sure
You know,
yeah
and call out injustice wherever it may be.
yeah
I'm completely on board with that. But going back to this Hollywood Reporter article, let's kind of break it down to some of its basic elements.
sure yeah
We have two important figures here, right? We have Ronan Farrow. Well, of course, we have the content. We have Ronan Farrow, and we have the Hollywood Reporter's editorializing.
right
They have they have interest in this, obviously. The way I interpret it is Ronan Farrow. He's coming from a place of sour grapes, so he's
Sure.
got that interest. Now, the Hollywood Reporter, they understand what's going on here. Okay, so you got this guy who's got sour grapes, and you've got Woody Allen's new movie coming out. So it increases eyeballs. It increases viewership for the Hollywood Reporter. So that's their
absolutely
interest.
yeah
So that's how I kind of interpreted this. I didn't see this as investigative journalism. Uh, I don't know that there are any really credible investigative journalist sources that focus on Hollywood. Maybe Hollywood Reporter is one of those sources. Um, where was I going with that?
investigative journalism
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah
So I didn't see it that way, especially because going through Ronan's arguments there, um, he's basically kind of implying that there was a miscarriage of justice and that the previous 6 month investigation was flawed.
yes yeah
When you don't, I I personally prefer to defer to the legal system. I'm not so jaded that to believe that the legal system is entirely corrupt. Maybe it is in some cases. I mean, there is a lot of evidence suggesting that there's a lot of bad cases that have gone before. But in this case, um, I think those things are really serious. That if you really want to make an accusation that the legal system was flawed and that there was a miscarriage of justice, you don't publish articles in the Hollywood Reporter. You file suit in court and you don't talk about it. Legal counsel will tell you not to say anything about this.
right
So
right
I saw it as he has no case, and that this is just his Ronan's motivations here is to tarnish whatever sheen that Woody Allen would have gotten from his new film.
sure
I don't know, maybe to muddy the waters, so that in case Woody Allen's new film is like a blockbuster hit and
right
it's up for an Academy Award or something, that if you have a recent article such as this in Academy members' mind, that might sway them to vote for a different film over Woody Allen's film. So that's how I saw this hit piece.
well I mean you raise a good point. I mean just you go back and watch the 2014 Oscars when Kate Blanchett wins her Oscar for Blue Jasmine and thanks Woody Allen, pretty muted applause. I mean, people do react to this stuff. The
Sure.
Academy, I'm sure, would react to this stuff. And you raise a really important point, which is that's what that's what the case is at this point. The case is articles, and the case is allegations, and I think I should be better versed in law and stuff, but unfortunately I'm not. I think there would be no way to sue Woody Allen now because this was so long ago, right?
Right. There's a statute of limitations, I think.
Right. That's
I don't
what
know
I
if
thought.
that's what it's called, but basically the principle behind that is after a certain amount of time, it's very difficult to trust witness testimony because their memories,
Sure,
their memories
sure,
fade.
yeah.
They create narratives in their head and they start to believe that narrative.
Well, there was also the part where he said that or at least what he said was that it was traumatic for Dylan Farrow going through the whole thing. So Mia Farrow decided not to. Yeah, that's true.
Wait, what was he saying about Dylan Farrow? Yeah, I mean, I understand the whole trauma for the victim thing, but was he saying that because of Dylan's trauma that they had to cut the investigation? Is that what he was saying?
He said that because it was traumatic for Dylan Farrow to go through this whole process that Mia Farrow decided not to pursue the charges.
See, I find that very problematic. I mean, because if it really did happen, I mean, if this was my child, I would prosecute until I was blue in the face.
That's
I would
a
not
fair
drop
point.
the charges.
Yeah. So given that, I'm guessing you would err on the side of saying that people who want to go see Cafe Society, would you say they probably shouldn't worry about this at all? Shouldn't like that it's considering what you've laid out that it's in a way kind of a non-issue. Would you say that? Or?
I would say that it's difficult to base your decision to boycott or to not boycott based on this case. Yes,
sure,
that's what I'm saying. But I mean, in this case, I don't like to tell people how to think or what to do with their lives. But I mean, if you're gonna see it, then see it. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, personally, I'm probably not gonna see it because I'm not excited for it.
Right. Yeah. I've actually heard it's kind of bad. So
let's kind of shift this conversation into an alternate universe.
Yeah,
let's say that he's like, I don't know if Roman Polanski was convicted, but let's say that he was.
Yeah.
Let's say that Woody Allen is O.J. Simpson, where he was an acquittal is something different.
Right.
Or again, in this fantasy reality, let's say that Woody Allen was convicted, but he wasn't. Let's say that he did serve prison time, right? This is 20 years ago. So let's say he was in prison for 15 years and he was able to shorten his sentence and he got out on parole. And for some magical reason, he made a movie that's coming out in 2016. In that case, I would boycott instantly because I don't take these kind of things lightly. Sexual assault, whatever. That's to me, he's like he's no one anymore. He's dead to me. Was there anything more about this Woody Allen stuff?
There's nothing I had. I actually think that's a great moment to end on. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
all right.
It's a good conversation.
This was good. Yeah. Thank you, and especially thank you because you brought up a lot of stuff that I have thought of and that I'd love to talk about, but also a lot of stuff I hadn't considered. So I mean that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps it up for today. Remember to, if you like this podcast, please click thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at T.H.O Movie Reviews, and to check out all of our latest reviews of new movies at thomoviereviews.wordpress.com. Once again, I'm Bennett Campbell Ferguson, and from me and Patrick here at T.H.O, happy movie watching.
See ya.